Oh my days, we have still got so many more tomatoes and courgettes. Look over my shoulder, look at them all. There's loads, and that's not including the ones I picked this morning that are on the sink draining. So I need to come up with a dish to use these up. Well, I'm not going to be able to use all of them, but we're going to go for some of them. I saw on Pinterest this dish that involved tomato sauce and courgette that have been grilled or griddled or fried in a frying pan, depending on what you've got. And then it's almost like a courgette lasagna, but also a bit like a spinach and ricotta cannelloni, but sort of. Yeah. You'll see when I make it. It'll be delicious, I'm sure it will. If you've not been here before, I'm Samantha. This is the channel Trying to Get By. I hope you are all doing well. My garden is overproducing the tomatoes and courgettes, so this is what we're going to make today. So I'm using my Instant Pot to do this because I've got ages to be able to cook down these tomatoes. So I've started off with an onion. I'm going to go in next with some garlic. This is just jarred garlic. I'm going in with quite a bit though. That's probably about 3 garlic cloves worth of garlic. Oh, we like garlic. Garlic is good. Next, we're going in with some tomato paste. Give that a little mix. Cook that off for a minute or two to get that flavour going and also cook out the bitterness that can sometimes be in the tomato paste. I've chopped up some tomatoes, just a few. This is still not all of them, but I thought I'd rather chop up these ones. These are the older ones, and there's still probably a good pounding weight of tomatoes, if not more, to be honest. But if I make too much sauce, it's fine. I've got no worries about it because I can always use it for something else. I've not taken the seeds out. I've not taken the skins off because I am far too lazy to even think about doing that. And I'm aiming on cooking it in the slow cooker for the next, it's 12:15. Chris is not home till about 6:30. I'll need half an hour in the oven just to bake off, if that. I think I'm going to put this in the slow cooker on high for about 4 hours. So that'll do the job really well. If you've not got it on the slow cooker, you can do it in a pan, but obviously you just have to keep an eye on it, keep it ticking over, keep mixing it. The slow cooker takes away all that pressure. So I'm going to pop all these in there, give it a mix and get the lid on. There we go. Now, you may be thinking, Samantha, wait, no herbs? No herbs in this? You're not going to add some stuff? Well, I'm going to add herbs to the cream cheese that's going to go inside the courgette. So I'm not really, don't want to over herb this. I'm going to taste it once it's cooked and I might add some then. But at the moment, I'm just going to leave it as it is and go for a pure tomatoey garlicky sauce. So lid on, cancel the saute. We are on slow cook. We are on high 4 hours, which is what I was aiming for already. Leave that to do its thing. In the meantime, back over here, and we've got these 2 courgettes, which are the ones that I'm going to work on, because I decided to pick out the biggest ones because they'll give the longest length to cut. So I'm going to top and tail those and then decide what's the best way to cut them. So let me just tidy up the rest of the stuff and we'll get on to that. Right, now I could do this with a knife and make my thin slices, but I think actually this potato peeler's got quite a decent gap because I don't want it too thick, so I'm going to give a go with this. So, long strips. This is pretty good. Oh, now don't worry if you do that, it's not the end of the world. Oh, these are looking nice. Now the tricky bit is, when you get to where you've not got as much courgette to hold on to. So I might stand it up to start it off. I don't know. And then hold and pull. That's not too bad. Keep going. Okay. Whoop! Flipping all over the place. Whoop! It's getting a bit bendy. Maybe try doing it that way, because that bit's the bendy bit. Will it work? Oh, no, I'm going to have to wiggle that in. So this is the tricky bit. I have got my pan on ready. Oh, do you know what I might do? Do as far as I can, and that leftover courgette I might chop really small and chuck in with the tomato mixture. I think that is possibly the best thing to do. Okay, so don't stress myself too much about getting as much as I can, because nothing is going to go to waste. Not in my house. We don't do food wastage, if at all possible. If it's not going in the bag for compost, or in our own compost bin, or in the bag in the freezer for stock, it probably can't be used. So what I need to do now is, they're quite flexible already, but I want to make them just a little bit softer. So I've got the pan on, so all as we're going to do is pop them in the pan just for a few minutes, just to soften them slightly. You could salt them as well, like if you were doing aubergine, but I think just doing them in here should be good. So I'm just prepping this. I'll get them done and cooled, and I'll pop them in the fridge until I need them later, when I'm going to be assembling everything together. Now, I can't quite fit everything in, but I'm fitting most of them. And while they're cooking, I will just dice up the rest of this courgette into very small chunks to go in the tomato sauce. There we go, courgettes all cooked, both sides. You don't have to cook them until they're brown or anything. The main thing is just to make sure that they are nice and flexible and can be rolled up like that. There's the rest of that courgette, which we're going to put in with the tomatoes. And then we're going to carry on making this a little bit later. I sometimes wonder how my brain works. I got up from the sofa and was thinking, oh, I'll come in the kitchen and I'll start to prep the stuff for tea. And as I walked through the door, this literally just beeped. So there you go. Internal clock I have, clearly. So let's release a little bit of steam off there, because it does steam up a little bit. Pop that there. Have a look in here. Oh, there we go. Oh, smells nice. So I'm going to turn this on cancel, and I'm going to get my stick blender, which I need to find. Oh no, it's okay, it's not too far away. I had kept it in my pot with some of my wooden implements and my spatulas and all that kind of thing from last time I used it for some reason. I think what was I making last time? I was making some mayonnaise. So we're going to blend this as smooth as we can possibly make it. There we go. So that is lovely. It's not going to be perfectly smooth. It's not going to be, you know. Oh, it's not too bad. Let's have a little taste. This is going to be steaming hot, so that is really nice. Now, I said before, the cream cheese stuff I've got has got herbs in it, so I'm not adding herbs to this, and I'm still not going to add some herbs to this because this is lovely. It's got that real, you need to see my expressive face, that real tomatoey freshness. So there you go. Right, I have got some cheese here. I have got our lovely floppy courgette. So the main aim now is to add this to this and place in here. We're going to start though with a little bit of tomato on the bottom. So let's get this in position. Can you see everything? I think you can. I think we're good. So, tomatoey stuff first. Not a massive amount, just a good couple of, maybe 3 spoonfuls on the base. Just more than anything, it kind of stops everything from sticking. So what I'm going to add to this is just a little bit. Can you see that properly? There you go. I'm going to add some onion powder and garlic powder, because why wouldn't you? Now, I'm still using up the remnants of my old stuff that's still a little bit lumpy. Excuse me, I had a hiccup then. But that's fine. We'll just stick our fingers in and break it up. Now, the herbs that are in here are just, it's like your standard mixed herb mix. So, but it's quite loose. I gave it a mix before and I'm worried now that it's a little bit loose. Now, the recipe I did read about involved ricotta and adding an egg, but I haven't got that, so I can't. But we'll just go for it and we'll see what we can do. Right. This is the good spatula to use, I think. So we're going to add a little nubbin of that and then wrap it around and then place it in the tomato sauce. Did you see that? Did that work? I have a feeling I might have too much of something and not enough of another thing, but we will see. There we go. This is not going to look... Now this would be better obviously if my courgettes were a bit bigger, but these are my homegrown ones. This is what I have got. So this is what I am using. If it doesn't look perfect, it's going to be fine. But this is the basic plan, is to kind of wrap the courgette around the cheese and place it in the tomato sauce and get it all over your hands. But that's okay. There we go. Keep wrapping and keep laying it out. Like I say, it's a bit like a cannelloni to a certain degree. Oh, I think that might be a bit much. There we go. Oh, I think that was the nicest one I've done. There we go. I'm going to keep doing this until the tray is done and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, I admit it, this isn't going to work perfectly. I've run out of courgette and I've still got space. So this is not going to have any carbs in it if I do it this way, in terms of, you know, like potatoes, pasta, rice. So what I'm going to do is I've got some of my pasta. I'm going to put a little bit of pasta at one end. In fact, I'm going to carefully find a fork and manipulate some of this up here. Yep. Oh, my pasta tried to stray. Okay. Right. So, we've got our little thing up there. We're going to put some pasta down here. A little bit more pasta. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to put some of this cream cheese over this, just kind of dot it over this pasta. I don't know if this is going to work, because I'm kind of just making it up now because things are not working out the way they should. But sometimes you adapt. I'm then going to go over with quite a bit of this sauce. So I'm going to cover the courgette with sauce, which will be yummy delicious. And then I'm going to absolutely smother this pasta with sauce, and it's going to bake in the oven. Now, I'm not quite ready to put it in the oven, but this pasta sauce is still hot, so that's going to kind of partially cook the pasta. So I'm going to make sure it's well and truly covered. So that looks pretty well covered. I've still got sauce left, so I will keep that for another dish. And I think I'm just going to use the rest. Whoop. That's the problem with this spatula, is it does come apart. It is one of the best spatulas though, because it's nice and small, it fits in jars. I'm going to cover the rest of this dish with this. Just kind of in blobs. Because I think it'll be nice, and I think it'll cook through nice. And I think it'll add a nice flavour. I'm also going to put on a little bit of grated cheese that I've got. I've got some grated vegan cheese. So, yeah, if I didn't tell you this was vegan cheese, but it makes no difference. If you're not vegan, don't worry about it. Just use a bit of Philadelphia. Okay. There we go. That's that. That is now going to wait until Chris is home, and it's going to go in the oven and it's going to bake. And like I say, hopefully the pasta will cook through from the heat that's in there right now and then the heat that's in the oven. So let's see how this turns out. So I've sprinkled this with some vegan cheese on top. I've got a bit of broccoli out the freezer that's defrosted, and I've just sprayed it with a little bit of oil and sprinkled it with a little bit of salt and pepper, just to have as a bit of a side. That's Tilly in the background if you can't hear her. Tilly, say hello. Tilly! Yeah. Anyway, this is going in the oven. Imagine Tilly meowing like that. Probably 10 times louder at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's always good. So we've got that in there, that in there, and just cook that till the pasta's done and everything's done. And that'll probably take 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I've dished up the roasted broccoli. There is the courgette and pasta bake. So we're going to dish that up as well. So let's do that. Let's get a good angle there so you can see everything. Let's start off with, obviously the pasta's up this end, so we're going to start down this end. There we go. Oh, yes, don't touch the sides. There we go, and a little bit of pasta. There we are. Oh, that's come out really good. So, grab a fork, have a taste, dish Chris's up in a second, scooch down to that. This is going to be nuclear powered, but I know it is going to taste absolutely scrummy. Look at that. Get a little bit of pasta on there as well, just to make sure that that is properly cooked. Pause for blowing. That works, that's really good. Actually, I've got to say, I'm not sure if... Do I prefer that to cannelloni? Ooh. Now there's a question. So we absolutely loved that dish that we had last night. I'm talking about it this morning because we went straight in, we ate it, and then we got a bit absorbed in watching a TV series that we've been watching. So yeah, But it was really, really good, and I quite liked putting the pasta down the end, it made it just that little bit more filling. I think if we'd have only had a full tray of the courgette and soft cheese, would have been delicious because it was, but it wouldn't have been quite as filling. We'd have had to maybe put some, I think, yeah, some like garlic bread or something like that to kind of bulk it up, but the pasta made it filling enough. So, love that sauce so much. I'm chopping more tomatoes because we have thousands of them. Well, not quite, but we have a lot of them. So I'm chopping up more tomatoes and basically making a replica of that sauce again, so that I have got some in to just use as and when we need it, because it was super uber delicious. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed that meal we made with our plentiful courgettes and tomatoes. So if you're growing courgettes and tomatoes in your garden, or you managed to get some from an oleo haul or from a neighbour who's growing loads, have a try of it. It's really, really delicious. Please do the liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and if you're wondering why I've got these in, it's because while I've been chopping my tomatoes, I was listening to, I found this person on YouTube called Ramit Sethi, and he's really good talking about finances and things like that. He's got a Netflix show called How I Can Make You Rich, and it's just pretty interesting to listen to. So I often have these in while I'm doing chopping and dicing, so that I can listen to that podcast. My other favourite one is Mayim Bialik. I love Mayim Bialik's breakdown. Really, really enjoy those ones as well. Now, you can get them on podcast, but you can also get them on YouTube, and that's where I listen to them because it's free.